Star and Stripes' parting gift to All for One was a giant middle finger, basically. And that's saying something when we had the giant Star and Stripe in the air, made from air. But I love that her bros are just so desperately trying to gun down Shigaraki's meat puppet body, piloted by All for One. Who apparently, Shigaraki or All for One, it's getting hard to just nail down who I'm talking about half of the time, but All for One in Shigaraki's body apparently stole the wings quirk from that one Nomu that he brought along with him. So that's how he managed to get away for the most part. And he's jetting through the air and he's desperately trying to find someone he can pass the quirk along to, New Order, because Cassie had set that thing off like a time bomb within All for One. And it's just so great. Like, All for One is just so pissed. It's just like, no matter what, you're always in my goddamn way, All Might, you bitch. And he goes rocketing off. And I feel so bad for Star and Stripes bros. They're just like, Cassie, we'll make sure your remains get back to your loved ones. You really did surpass them. You surpassed All Might. You've always been the greatest hero. And I'm just like, damn, yeah. Oof. I really will miss Cassie. Meanwhile, one of the villains, a convicted robber and murderer, Kashi, he's hanging out with, I guess, his girlfriend or something, some chick. And instead of joining up with the rest of the villains and wreaking havoc across Japan, he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna lie low on the countryside and live a peaceful life. Which, I mean, hey, shit, that's not a bad plan, all things considered. The only bad part is that out in the boonies is where All for One shows up in Shigaraki's body, desperately trying to get rid of New Order. So he grabs the dude by the face, thinking, okay, I'll steal his quirk, then give him New Order in order to preserve it. But it's almost kind of like it's blocked. And I'm not quite clear. If someone can explain to me exactly how he wasn't able to pass on this ability, if it's just because of what New Order did, or if it just revolted against the quirk of giving quirks to someone else. Like, even that concept, New Order is just like, fuck you, and just smashes it to the side. Or it's even that New Order is ultimately destroying itself as well as other quirks, because the visage of Cassie appears within Tomura / All for One, and she does admit that, her last play was the death of her, but while she does regret not being able to finish him off, she knows that someone else will stand up, take her place, and strike him down. Another hero will rise to the occasion, and while All for One kind of dismisses this, deep within the recesses of All for One's grip on Shigaraki's mind lies the little Tenko Shimura, who calls out one name, Midoriya. Almost as though he knows that if there's one person who wouldn't give up on him, it would be Izuku Midoriya. Meanwhile, with the rest of the world, the authorities in Japan desperately tried to track Shigaraki down, but were unable to find him. And with the rest of the world learning of the death of America's #1 hero, every country basically went into a state of lockdown. Any kind of help they might have tried to give to Japan at some point down the line, completely rescinded. The fear of losing one of their heroes, one of their greatest assets, yeah, no. No country wants to risk that, especially for, as they put it, some far-off land. I mean, that's how government politics would actually work, honestly. Basically, Japan's on its own. However, Star and Stripes boys, they're still willing to put in at least a little bit of assistance, as they relay to All Might, who laments the fact that he never got to see Cassie one more time. The planes that they rode in, called the X-66, held data from the battle. They recorded everything. Biosignatures, they analyzed the quirks of everyone involved in the fight, and they're hoping that that data might help give them a little bit of information on what is going on with Shigaraki. And so All Might relays to the Class 1A students of UA that the deadline where Shigaraki's body would have been perfected the next day, well, it is the next day, but the day after this next day that we're currently on, whatever. Basically, they would have had one day from when All Might is telling them this information, but because of what Star and Stripe did, they were bought at least a week. So they have to do what they can within that week of time to bring down Shigaraki and All for One. And so for Izuku, he's managed to rest up for a couple of days now. So what's going to happen next? What's the plan? Where do our heroes go from here on out? It's hard to say. What's ultimately going to go on with Tomura now that all of that power has basically been mostly devoured out of him? Is there anything even left? Does he even have New Order? Or am I right in thinking that maybe New Order devoured itself as well? That would be pretty metal, all things considered. And while I'll still mourn the loss of Cassie and feel that it's a shame that we lost yet another really cool female character, from Midnight to Star and Stripe, got me feeling some kind of way, Horikoshi. And it does kind of suck that ultimately she was used as a plot device in order to weaken Tomura. It is what it is, and I'm glad that our heroes have been given a chance to actually win. But how they'll do that, only Horikoshi knows. But if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notification. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I will see you, heroes, in the next video. Bye-bye.